That's a little better. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Everything's sticky and sweaty. I was outside all morning, and it's hot. It's very hot out. We're here for July's live. I had really hoped to be on the bank for today, and up until last night, I was going to. My work schedule changed, so instead of working this morning, I was actually able to get out on the bank. The heat is just insane. It's absolutely cooking out there. Grimy, good to see you. So what I did is funny enough, I got up at 4 a.m. Nice to see you guys popping in there. I got up at 4 a.m. this morning, well before my alarm. And I was like, okay, I got to go fishing. I got to get out there before it gets too hot. And then if I find somewhere comfortable where I'm in shade or something, I can do my live from the bank. Well, it was pouring rain when I left the house this morning. And at 4:30 this morning, Dougie was texting me. So, I was a little bit distracted, and it took me a little bit longer to set up and get out. And it's just pouring out. So as I'm driving to the first spot, Doug's messaging me about his challenges with the Carp Society that are going on right now, the first round of challenges. He's getting ready for his. Why he would just start texting me, he must have realized I was up somehow on the social media. So he's got his session coming up, so all of us will have to cheer Doug on when he does his challenge. Let's see, Grimy, Ben, Victor, and Galen are in there. Awesome. So yeah, I drove through the rain, got to the first spot that I was planning on going to. I was really hoping to find some rudd. I wanted to find some big rudd. And I went there with kind of a thought in my head that it would be exactly the same as it was 3 years ago when I was there last, or 2 years ago, something like that. I should have gone back to that spot much, much sooner. It's not the same. There's a lot of changes to that location, both on the land and in the water. I had an absolute massive smallie just blow up and explode on my top water this morning, and it missed the bait completely. I saw the whole fish. It was massive. Big smallie. Completely missed the bait. Never came back for it. Never got another touch on the top water. But I did bust the fly rod out, and I haven't looked at the footage yet. I should have some chest cam footage because I had that on all morning. I got something special on the fly rod this morning. Something awesome. If the footage of that turns out, you guys are going to think that's pretty cool. It's the biggest one of that species I've ever caught, and I've never caught one with that kind of coloring. So that was exciting. I probably screwed up the photos, and I don't know how the footage turned out. I was wired when I got that. So we'll have to see how that turns out. There's Big Dave. And yeah, that was exciting. And I found myself leaving that spot by like 7:30. Had a nice chat with Dave this morning after I got back to the van. So, it was a little bit after 8 o'clock. I still had time before I had to be home. So I was going to go try and see if I can try another spot. And if I could do the live from there, I would. Turns out that the other spot I wanted to go to was 9 minutes away from where I was. So literally up a block, one street, and I'm there. It was perfect. Got there, set up the seat box and the pole to do a little bit of pole fishing, the long poles with the elastic. And that was a grind. Had the camera rolling for that. I had a camera up on the side and the chest camera there. And that was a grind for a while. And then all of a sudden it went crazy. And then it was a grind again. So I got some cool footage there, I hope. but both cameras shut down from the heat. It was full sun, just absolutely cooking. It's like 34 degrees Celsius out there. Absolutely just toasted me. My camera's turned off. The fish just stopped playing ball. And it was like, okay, I can't do the live here. The fish have shut off, and I'm going to get another awful sunburn. I already got that a week ago. And yeah, so I thought, you know what, I'll rip home. We'll do the live from home. We got a couple things to show you this time and talk about what's coming up. But yeah, pretty productive morning. Potentially got 2 videos shot this morning if the footage turned out. And I'm going to go out and try and shoot one tomorrow. I just have to work out the details on that one. Also, you guys will be happy to know it's been a while, but there's a new breakdown coming. Dave has already filmed his half. So there's a new episode of the breakdown on the way. It's half complete. I'm going to do my session after work during the week. So it's going to be like a 6 p.m. or 6:30 on one evening after work, probably Monday or Tuesday. And I'm really excited for that one. I was in that area 2 weeks ago, kid fishing. I was fishing for sunfish and, you know, whatever little things would bite. And I saw 2 absolute chunks roll on that spot. And we've been talking about fishing that spot for a few years. Dave finally went and did it. I don't know his results. I don't know what he did. The only details I have is that he went there, did his session, got all the footage he needed, and has not gone back. So I would say he must have had fish. So now I've got to go give it my routine, how I'm going to fish it, see if I can get what results I get, and then we'll compare in the end. So I'm really, really excited because I know there's lots of fish in that area, but the potential for something absolutely massive there is so high. So that's going to be it's going to be something. Dave pulled in a 40 and he's just keeping it a secret. I don't know if he could keep a secret like that, to be honest with you. I think as soon as you got Dave on the phone and said, hey, did you get your session done? He would be giggles for 2 hours if he actually had a 40. That would be interesting. But you never know. Never know. He could have had a couple of absolute donkeys. There you go. Like your challenge session. Ben did his first round of the challenge the other day, and he was over in one of our nice favorite spots over on the Upper Niagara River. Ben absolutely smashed it up. It's not an easy swim to fish, and he absolutely smashed it up. We're all really proud of Ben. The nice thing is about the first round of these challenges for the Summer Challenge Series, none of the weights of the fish have been announced to anybody competing or any members of the Carp Society. So some of the people have had fish, some of the people not so much. But the results don't get posted until the 15th for round 1, and that will tell us who moves on to round 2, which is kind of exciting. So, you know, Ben may have had a spectacular session. Are his fish big enough to beat anybody else? We don't know. His partner is, I think, fishing today or tomorrow for his teammate. Will he secure their movement into the next round or not? We don't know. It's kind of exciting that way, where nobody really has that opportunity to know one way or the other how it went. You know, did somebody just have a lights out session but never got anything bigger than, say, 10 pounds? We don't know. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of that plays out. Doug has his session coming up. I think he starts on Sunday evening and is going to go through until Monday morning. So Sunday night, Monday morning sort of thing. It's a 12-hour session he has to do. So that'll be nice. See how Dougie does. We can all cheer him on. Yeah, I'm looking forward to what's coming up with these challenges and stuff. It's been fun keeping track and watching how everybody's been doing. Some surprises for sure. I know all the weights because I put them all on the website, but I'm not telling anybody. But I can say that I'm very excited with what I've seen so far. It's I think oh man, what's going on? Sorry. I'm still all bunched up and covered in everything from my session. I had my waders on, so nothing is sitting right clothing wise. It's all sweaty and whatnot. Yeah, I'm really excited to see how the rest of the challenges go for round one and how everybody does. Then we'll get the weights up on the site for any fish that have to go up there, and it's going to be very interesting to see who moves on to round two. And it's even though you're fishing as teams, you're really it was a random draw, right? So it's not somebody you would normally fish with. So that's also another exciting element to get anglers fishing with new people. So very, very cool. Really exciting. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place. I caught an awesome fish this morning, and then I went somewhere and caught a few other cool fish, and my brain is fried from the heat. The cameras are now over here sitting under the cold vent coming down from the ceiling to cool them off because they're, like I said, they just shut off in the heat. My solar charger, like my little power bank, it's got the little solar thing on it. Yeah, I shouldn't have left that out in the sun. I thought at one point that there was like a hiss coming from it. I thought it was going to explode, but it's cooled down now, so that's good. Maybe it has an internal fan. I don't know. How do I like the new cameras? Am I still filming in 4K? Yes. Absolutely love the DJI Osmo 3s. They're fantastic. Yes, we're still doing it all in 4K. No, they're not GoPros. They're DJI Osmo Action 3. I bought those ones specifically because the 3s handle the cold better than any of the other ones. And it's a feature that I need when I'm fishing for trout, ice fishing, things like that. The problem that I've had is audio. So like with my old cameras, like what was this? This is one, the old Sony, and then the Canons that I have my external mics that I can plug in, little shotgun mics that plug into the side. With these cameras, I have little adapters to plug into the camera for those shotgun mics. I have a really tiny Rode one. I don't know if it's the adapters or what, but I can't get any of my external microphones to actually work and have functioning audio, to try and eliminate wind noise and stuff like that. So I'm still tinkering with that. At the moment, I don't have the money to be dropping on the actual DJI mics that'll like clip onto your lapel and stuff like that. But that's probably, by the end of summer, I'll probably pick those up anyways, because I do want a few other DJI products. And we have Paul to thank from Team Carp, our buddy Paul Choka. He's the one that got me looking at DJI in the first place. He uses a lot of their products, and obviously we've seen the amazing quality of videos that he does. I don't have the shooting skill, but at least I can make it look as clean with the better cameras. Speaking of Paul, he just put out a new video yesterday. It's a shorter video than is typical. but it looks like he had another adventure in Romania with his buddy, and I'm thinking he caught something big. The cover photo shows a pretty big fish. I'm thinking he got something pretty spectacular over there in Romania. So if you haven't seen his new video yet, check it out. I haven't seen it. I will be watching it this afternoon, probably later in the day when I finally settle down. I've got lots more crap to do today. I also have to prep a ton of stuff for fishing tomorrow once I know exactly what it is I'm doing. Now, some of you will probably remember the last few live streams. Let me just check and see who's in here right now. Not everybody's still in the chat, or not everybody's listed as participants. So you guys are all here. What's going on? You guys will remember in the last couple chats. Oh, there's Dave Newman hanging out. I can't remember who it was. Why is the name? I remember all your names because you guys are always here hanging out with me for the lives. Why the name is eluding me right now, I don't know. But you remember somebody in the chat the last few times has been telling me to get the elasticated feeders. And last month I said that I had either just put in the order, or I was just about to put in the order, like that day or the next day for the elasticated feeders, because I had to get my pole rollers, which are way over the, way over there. So the cheap flimsy pole rollers I've been using, and these are the things you set up behind you. So when you're shipping back the long 12-meter carbon pole, it kind of rolls on this little stand and keeps it off the ground, keeps everything up, protected, and moving smoothly, so you can ship it back fast and then ship it out fast. So I ordered new pole rollers, and I got 2 elasticated feeders to try. These are cool, and I am super excited to try these. I've watched them in some of the videos, and they looked interesting. I don't know how this is going to hold up to like really big fish, but obviously with the feeder rods and fish up to like 15, 18 pounds that I've been catching, these are probably going to be pretty neat. So it looks like this is it here. This is the elasticated Dura Banjo feeder by Preston Innovations. I bought 2 of them. These are the micro 30 gram. I probably should have went with bigger. So just like any method feeder, you got your little stem and little tail rubber basically, but in there, that's where you tie off to. So instead of it being inline like most of the feeders that I have, almost all the feeders I have, you tie off to here, kind of like the PVA stems. Those really cool stems that I use with inline leads for PVA bags. This is very much like a mini PVA stem, but right in there, there's a little, you see that purple thing? That's a knot. And there's rubber piece of like rubber pole elastic going through the shaft of this stem. There's a little clip on the end. I haven't actually figured out how to get the rubber off of there so you can just kind of loop your rig on. So this will go out and sit like any other method feeder with your paste or whatever you've got in there. Your rig's coming off of this, and when the fish bites, there's a piece of pole elastic in there operating as a shock absorber. I can't help but look at this and think hermit rig. It's exactly the same, really, except this isn't just for the strike to cushion the strike and kind of pull that hook in like the hermit rig does. This is like that's still part of your main line, right? Your line's coming to this, and then the fish is on here, and that's what's holding it. So that's doing all that work. So a little bit different from the hermit rig, but very same principle. And I can think of a few spots where they do bite a little shy, where maybe the bolt effect of that isn't quite quick enough, let's say. Maybe they turn their head, they get this pulled out just enough to pull back, and we'll see. But you guys told me to get it and try it. I got them. I'm going to try them. I may actually use those tomorrow. We'll see. I just had a match. I think it was last weekend. We went to the one campground location with the great big pond that's full of tiny catfish and lots of carp. Carp anywhere from, say, I think I've had some of them like this big in one match last year, and they go all the way up to like 10 pounds in there. That was a tough match, but that was a fun match. And I have to say, I fished better in that match than I think any other match that I've done yet. I worked a feeder rod with a small cage feeder. I worked another feeder rod, a heavier feeder rod with a method feeder for fishing distance, trying to get my rigs out, 70, 80 yards to the other side of the pond. And which I needed because it was windy. And I also had a spot set up where I was fishing the pole. So I was kind of doing a little bit of everything, and I was into fish very quickly. It turned out to be very tough. I lost a really good size carp on the pole. It snapped my rig off. I lost the whole rig, everything, right to the elastic. That was a tough spot to be in. That was within the first 30 minutes. I'd hooked that fish in about that much water. I had a spot that I just dumped almost a full can of corn on, a little bit of ground bait, some hemp seed, and that was just going to be my catfish spot because the catfish just ravaged that. So that was to be the catfish spot that I would fish for the pole. And then I was going to use the feeder by the island that I had in front of me. Lyle from, was it Fishing Niagara? No, it's not Fishing Niagara. Why do I always mix up the name of his guide service? Lyle. He's a local guide. I always forget the name of his guide service. I apologize. He can get mad at me later. He was in the swim next to me, and it was neat because we were all set up all the way around the pond with like 30 meters apart, except for Lyle and I. We were on a point, so the point comes out like this. He was on this side and I was on this side. So we had the same island in front of us, and we had open water to fish too in front of us. But we were only actually about 15 meters away from each other. We could actually talk to each other from our seat boxes. And so I could kind of Hooked on Niagara. That's it. Lyle from Hooked on Niagara. Why I always mix that one up, I don't know. It's just screwy. So it was neat that we were close together and we were both doing the same thing. We were both working feeders. We both had a spot set up for poles. But the interesting thing was I could keep an eye on him. He could keep an eye on me. And we couldn't really see what everybody else was doing given the distance. So when I heard him, getting catfish splashing around, I could okay, the carp aren't biting. I can go on the pole line, bring in 5 or 6 catfish, get some weight in the net, and go back and try for the carp along the island. So I had one side of the island, he had the other. His side was the shade side. So he had more carp in front of him for longer. It turned out to be really difficult in the fact that not only did I lose that one big one early on, but I actually had 3 other breakoffs and then 3 hook pulls throughout the remainder of the match. It was a 5-hour match. For the first 3 hours of that match, even though I had a couple breakoffs and hook pulls, I got the bites. Everything I did actually work. I had some carp on the pole, had them on the cage feeder, had them on the method feeder at the distance, So I was watching and seeing where they were moving, put a rig out, give it 10 minutes, boom, rod would rip around, lost the fish. So it was really tough. I ended up with the breakoffs and the hook pulls, I lost 7 carp in that match that I needed to try and come close to a win. Lyle had similar success. He weighed like a pound heavier than me, or a pound and a half heavier than I did, because he had that extra couple carp. But I think he lost 4 fish as well. 1 or 2 of them were breakoffs. Just down a bit, our friend Nuno, who you would have seen in the fishing the shitter in the spring, Nuno lost 12 fish. Several of them were breakoffs. So it wasn't a matter of us not being able to get the bites. For some reason, the way they peeled off the fights, I pulled in a ton of like branches that had fallen into my swim. So there was a lot of snags and stuff like that. Our whole side, our whole bank, suffered from that. We had a lot of lost fish, and despite losing a ton of fish, Nuno actually still managed to pull off a 3rd place in the match. So good for him. But that first 3 hours, man, my confidence was through the roof with how well I was fishing and how comfortable I was doing each of those tasks. Getting a lot of catfish on the pole is kind of irritating because you got to get them in really quick. Like you got to hook them quick and get them in quick, get back out quick. But carp showed up on that line as well. And that was I think that was at 11 meters. So I had carp coming in that close as well. And, it just turned out that I didn't get enough fish in the basket to really do well. Even if I had all those fish, I maybe would have scraped a 4th place win. Not a win, of like a 4th place instead of the 7th I ended up in. At that 3-hour mark, the wind shifted. My spot became completely void of any shade whatsoever. And I had just sun. The fish were still there. They were still cruising. But a lot of the more active fish where I was getting the bites, they disappeared. So the last 2 hours of the match, I only had like 3 catfish. That was it. My smaller fish and my more active fish just pushed out. It turns out that the wind pushed across. So Lyle stayed in the fish because he had the shade of the island. But past him goes the other side of the pond where Justin was sitting. He struggled for the first 3 hours. And then when that wind shifted, the last 2 hours, that boy lit it up. And he managed to pull in like 20-something carp in the last 2 hours for a 39-pound bag to win the match. That was something. I think Yevon was there, and he had the big fish. He had an 8-pounder. I think there was only 2 people out of the entire match that didn't actually weigh anything in. I think one guy left. Whether he caught or not, I don't know, but one guy left before we even did the weigh-ins. So I never even got to see him. I could see where he was set up, but once we were all finished, I'm looking around and he was gone. But most people weighed fish. I think out of 13 anglers, 11 people weighed in fish. And, we had respectable bags. We all had lots of catfish. We all had some carp. Like I said, that was certainly for that venue. I had never fished that venue that well. And I had not been that consistent in any match I've done yet. So I was quite proud of my performance there, despite being so low in the standings. It kind of rejuvenated a little bit of a rush for giving it the effort that I've been giving it. So that was a lot of fun. It was really cool. And, even though I was planning to get out of there quite quickly because I had other places I had to be right after the match. We ended up actually having a little barbecue right after the match, and everybody kind of had a bit of a social there. I didn't get to stick around for much of it, but I did stay for a little bit, and it was really cool because is it Euro fishing tackles? The guys in Quebec that have the match gear for Trabuco and Morose, the baits from Morose. They have the tackle for I think it's Rapture, and a few other companies that they're able to bring stuff over from, I think, Italy and some other European countries to bring match fishing gear here. They have carp fishing equipment, and they have like lures and predator fishing equipment. They sponsored the match and actually had the prize packs go out to our top people in that match. And they also sent down some catalogs so we could actually look through catalogs to be able to order some stuff without having to order from Europe ourselves, which always takes forever. It takes so long. These elasticated feeders and the pole rollers I ordered like at or after the match or the live stream last time, and they got here the other day, like 2 days ago. Barbecue, that's my kind of fishing. Yeah, it's something that a few of the match members have said. Like, we do the match, we hand out the prizes, and then everybody leaves. Some of the guys have actually stuck around and fished together afterwards, which is really, really cool. But yeah, when we have a private little venue like that at the campground, it's a perfect opportunity if everybody just stays that extra hour or so. Little barbecue, a little get together. Once the match starts, we're not social at all. We're all social to the peg draw. We get to our spots and it's game time. It's like focus on the fishing. And I love that aspect of it, but we have missed out on the social part of it. And a lot of us have done all these matches together through the season in last year and whatnot. And you kind of need that social part of it. I don't do well around groups of people, but this group has been pretty fun to be around, and I've enjoyed it. And it was a nice little social to do afterwards. Now, after that match, I was a little pissed, even though I didn't lose more fish than some of the other people. I lost a lot of fish, and I lost my favorite pole rig, which really bothered me. It was actually one of these. It was a Drennan A2S. That's not one of these. It was one of these ones, a 4-grammer. So this is the big carp. It's a 3.5 meter rig, like pole rig. The main line's 6.9 pounds. The leader to the hook is 5.8 pounds, and it's got a size 14 barbless hook. I changed the hooks out because I don't like using barbless hooks. But it was an orange stem, but this is pretty much what it was that fish stole on me. That was my favorite rig. I had used that pretty much every time I've been pole fishing. I have another one of these that has the yellow stem. That's the one I was using today. And then I have a few others of homemade ones, a couple that Justin made for me and a couple that I've made myself. And I was like, man, I really like this Drennan one. They're cheap too. They were only like, I think they're $5 or something. But the exchange is maybe $6 when you can bring them over from Europe. But like it's so hard to get this stuff over here to find people that carry this. I started looking on eBay, and I found these on eBay, and I could have got them pretty quick, but the shipping was just ludicrous from the people that I saw that had them. Then I remembered where I got these from, and I had ordered these from Johnson Ross the first time. So I went on their website to see just maybe if they had a few left, and they did have a few left, and I'm pretty sure I bought everything that they had left of these ones. They might have a couple of the little margin ones left, but the big carp ones, let's see here. What do I got? I wanted to kind of clear it out to make sure that I wasn't gonna get low on them again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the big carp pole rigs. Now, some of these are 4 grams and some of them are 5 grams. So I can actually, it's just a slightly heavier float, like 1 or 2 extra shot. Oh, and there's even a 6 gram in there. I don't know how that one snuck in. That's a nice big float. I struggle to see the floats anyways. So the bigger the better for me. So I got all these ones. I really like the way this is all set up. And then what have we got here? It's the A4S. So these are the margin carp rigs. So these ones are shorter rigs with more robust tackle on them. So even though those are the ones for the big carp, these are actually the ones for bigger carp when you're fishing the pole. So yeah, there's 4 grams and there's 3 grams. Everything else is identical. So this is a 2.5 meter. So the other one's a 3.5 meter. This is 2.5. So this is meant for fishing shallow, like right tight to the bank or just out from the bank. The main line's 8.9 pound test. The leader down to the hook is 6.9, and it's a size 12 hook. So it's a step up in everything except the float. It's a smaller float, smaller bristle, but bigger everything else. So I got a couple spots where I think these will be really nice. So overall, I got 11 new pole rigs. I'm actually going to take them off the winders they're on and put them on some better winders that I have that are adjustable, so that if I trim these off or make any adjustments to them myself, because sometimes I cut them short if I'm fishing a really short spot like the margins, and I'll cut it down to 1 meter. If I'm only fishing 10 or 12 inches of water, I don't need 2.5 meters, right? That's just unnecessary. So I've got some better pole rig winders over there to go in the seat box with the rigs on them, because my float box has just gotten out of hand with all the different wagglers I have, and then also my pole rigs. So I got to streamline things, clean it up, and use these things properly. Had to get I've got enough pole rigs now for the rest of this season and probably next season, which is good because I like pre-tied stuff. With my big carp fishing, I want to tie it myself. With my trout fishing, I want to tie it myself. With the match stuff, my feeder rigs, I like tying myself. But the pole rigs, you got to be so precise with these tiny floats. I don't want to tie them myself. Yeah, you're the tiny hooks and my eyes and my gigantic fat fingers. Look at this. Does this look like the face and hands of somebody who could properly handle tying 2-pound test to a size 16 hook? No, that is not me. So I got all these pre-tied ones now. By the time I go through all of these, I should be good enough to handle doing it all myself afterwards. Who else has been out with this heat? I know most people aren't getting out. Who else has been out to get into some fish lately? I'm really looking forward to this week where I'm going to go do my side of the breakdown. We didn't get to do one last year, I don't think, and that's a really fun project for us to do as a series, because it's our way of fishing together without fishing together, and I think that's kind of how we came up with it. But it's always been about like finding new swims. So it's kind of tough because we fished everywhere around our area. So it's been a bit of a delay to find a spot for the new breakdown, but I'm really excited to go there and do that. We have like 3 or 4 other series in mind that we're going to be doing soon. Those ones we need to be together, though. Dave's got one that I'm just so excited to try. And we were actually talking about, he mentioned something about it the other day. We were talking about it this morning. As soon as we can put a few hours together to be on the bank side by side, it's a 1v1 kind of situation. And I'm excited. I'm so excited to try that. Ben's not out today. He'll be back out through the week. Kaylin heading out next weekend to Vince's Island. So that's on Rice Lake. Will be good. I can hear my cat. She sounds like she's down here, but she shouldn't be. Zane's still sleeping, so she better not wake the kid up. Be good to get a few fish in the mat. Underwater camera will be with me, praying the weather cooperates. Oh, you're going to give my rigs another go. Try putting them in front of fish this time. I watched the footage that Galen sent me from last time. You see fish go by in the distance, and I'm watching with anticipation, so excited, thinking something's going to nose up and bump it, or no. Didn't happen. Put them in front of some fish. Get some fish. Hopefully you don't have the wind just crashing in like it did last time. I would love to see what my rigs do in front of that camera. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Is Vince even like open to take people booking on his island? Galen, like, is that information something you can put in the chat if people want to book with Vince and actually go to the island and fish Rice Lake from his setup? Because I don't even know what he calls it. I just know it as Vince's place. But he has a proper name for it. Like, is it set up as a business yet? Yeah, at some point I'll have to go back to Rice Lake. It's a special place. It really is. If we go all the way back to the October edition of the 12 Months of Carp, we were up there to fish with Will, and we ended up fishing with Matt Hayes, Richard Lee, and Goldie and I had such an amazing weekend fishing a bunch of different locations. 3 locations. We had fish in every one of them, and we had special fish in every one of them. It was a very, very memorable trip, and I would love to go back and fish some of those swims again. But I do want to try some other spots on Rice Lake. I'd like to get on an island and try it. I know a lot of people go up there and do it. Just some one-off bookings. Okay. Rice Lake produced back-to-back mirrors for Adam. One was amazing, fully scaled. Yeah, that's interesting. I only know of one other person here in Canada who's done back-to-back mirrors. Did it right in front of me. They were both 20-plus pounds, like 21, 22 pounds. One was a fully scaled, and one was like a buttery flank scales just down the side kind of thing. So that's wild. Both situations, it's a mirror and then a fully scaled. That's really weird. I think I'm overdue for a mirror. Actually, where I was this morning, it's kind of known for like tons of tiny little mirrors, and I have yet to get one there. I haven't even seen somebody get a mirror there yet. So I have to keep trying. It's just so shallow. The dam, for some reason, it needs another board or two to just get the water level up another foot. It'll be a lot better. With this heat, the fish are kind of limited to like just a couple of spots, and they're very, very tough to catch because it's so shallow. Then about an hour later, his whole pod went in the lake and he had to go swimming. Entertaining to say the least. Awesome. There's another Dave in there. But we got 3 Daves rocking in the chat right now. Good to see you. So yeah, it's Rice Lake's definitely one I want to get back to at some point. I'm not sure when, but I'm kind of overdue for another just wild road trip like Goldie and I did for that. Just, drive all the way up there, do the night in the first spot, move to another location, fish all day, go somewhere else, do the night in that spot, go back to the other spot just to say goodbye, and you end up having like one of the ultimate smash up sessions with one of your fishing heroes. It was awesome. It was awesome. I would love to put aside 3 or 4 spots and then just go do another road trip like that. Maybe get Nathan in on that one. Dave. We had such a great trip this spring. I definitely want to do that again too. Hands down, one of my favorite episodes. Yeah, mine too, man. That's one that every now and then I'll go back to and watch. Like when you look at the whole grand scheme of the 12 months of carp, there's only probably 5 episodes out of that whole string of episodes that I go back and watch like repeatedly. The October one is one of them for sure. So many Daves. Now I have the Kids in the Hall songs running through my head. Nice. At least I didn't put the song Terriers in your head. That's a Kids in the Hall song. And that is a messed up song. And if that does get stuck in your head, I'm not sorry. So yeah, with this heat, it's tough. I don't know how the fishing's going to be. When I was growing up, I don't remember days getting this hot. Certainly not for prolonged stretches of time. If it did, I certainly don't remember it affecting me the way it does now. I'm old and fat. The heat gets to me. I'm a larger surface area. I cook faster, right? And like I want to go fish some of these spots that I have with some shade, but those are the spots that aren't as good typically. Or you get into the shade and it's just bugs. I got the one spot I was in this morning, first thing, it's all overgrown completely. It's nothing like it was when I was there last. And I had to get out in the water in the waders to get away from the bugs. The mosquitoes, gnats, everything. It was freaking bonkers. I wish the fishing would have been better there than it was. Although, like I said, I did catch something absolutely spectacular. But the bugs were just a nightmare. If the fishing would have been better, I would have stayed out there for a little bit longer. But between the fact that the fishing was really difficult there and the bugs were bad, it's a 1 kilometer walk from where you park to the spot. And I was probably only in the fishing spot an hour. So you walk all that way, fish for an hour, walk all the way back, just get the hell out of there. Went to another location. Some of us are Davids. Most of us are Daves. We all have our own hands, but we come from different moms. Oh, man. You know how many Daves I have at my work as well? There's a lot of Daves at my work. There are Daves everywhere. So many Daves. Does anybody have any exciting news? Anything upcoming? Obviously, Galen's going to get out on Race Lake soon. That's good. Ben, if he makes it into round 2, he's got that to look forward to for the Challenge Series. If he makes it, we'll see. I know Ben and I are going to be hitting some more spots on the Upper Niagara. At some point, I have to just get the rods out, put the pod up, and start smacking some donkeys on the river. I have 2 new swims there that I've never fished on the river that I want to try. Very uncomfortable spots that will hopefully work in my favor because that should help keep other people out of them. But they've got all the telltale signs of what I'm looking for in a Niagara River swim for the bigger fish. So I'm really hoping I can rock up on one of them and just smack an absolute donkey. And yeah, we're going to try and have a bit of we'll be keeping each other posted on how we're doing on the river. You know, if somebody's absolutely smashing it or been baiting up, you know, that way we're not stepping on any toes. I hate when the bugs get in my ears, eyes, mouth, and nose. I have to wear one of those silly bug net hats. Yeah, I used to have one of those when I worked up north. Black fly season was an absolute nightmare. The collar of your shirt, from all the bites just under your collar, your t-shirt at the end of your workday would just be red, stained red from all the little blood bites from the black flies. I can't do the bug nets now anymore. I just kind of deal with it, or I just don't go where the bugs are a problem. Heading to Algonquin in August to fish for muskie, channel cats, smallies, and walleye. So excited. I didn't know there'd be channel cats in Algonquin Park. I've never been to Algonquin Park, which is weird because just about everybody else I know has been to Algonquin. And if you go back to the native ancestors on my father's side, they're from Algonquin. So I've got a family history that goes right back into there. My favorite painters growing up were the Group of 7, and Tom Thompson lived and died in Algonquin Park. It's still up in the air. It's not confirmed or unconfirmed, but I have a piece of artwork hanging in my house that it's a pencil drawing from the right time frame, and it's signed T. Thompson, and it's beautiful. But the Tom Thompson gallery was never able to prove it wasn't his, but we can't prove it is his. So that's another neat tidbit that ties right into Algonquin Park, and I've never been there. Maybe one day. Petawawa River, so northeast side of the park. Interesting. Yeah, one day. One day I'll go. I'll just drive up and do a day trip. Day trip to Algonquin from Niagara Falls. Sounds good. I don't want to camp where the bears are. Bears like fat guys. It's dangerous. I got to figure out tomorrow's plan because I don't know if I can film tomorrow if the cameras are going to be overheating in the sun, because where we're thinking about going, there's no shade. So I'll have to figure that out, and hopefully we'll get that another video filmed, so that will put a lot in the bank to be able to keep the uploads going a little bit better. I've got 2 episodes already filmed for an adventure I had where I'm trying to catch my first buffalo. I've got 2 episodes of that filmed already. I need to get back to doing that. I have something else ready as well, I think. Go back through the archives. I'll probably find something that Dave and I have we haven't strung together yet. The 2 videos that I shot this morning, as long as that footage turns out, we've got those coming up. And then whatever I shoot tomorrow, plus my half of the new episode of The Breakdown coming up. I'm going to fish that this week. And then as soon as Dave and I can link a couple hours together, our next kind of 1v1 series that we're working on. Originally it was supposed to be a one-off, but now we haven't even done it yet, and I want to do this 1v1 in other locations and see if we can do it, because I think it'll be amazing. He's already picked the place for that one. He's got a bait up plan. All I'm going to have to do is show up with cameras and fish with Dave, and that will just be awesome anyways. But adding this challenge into it is going to be exciting. So really, really wired for that. That'll be coming up as soon as we can do it, really. That's probably going to be one of those ones that are so fun that we'll film it and then like bump it ahead of everything else that we've got ready just to get that out there, because that'll be so much fun. And on top of everything else, let's see, Brian, I haven't been to Algonquin since grade 8. Wow. Yeah, I remember in high school, there was a lot of groups that went to Algonquin Park in high school. I was never in those groups, but all friends of mine went. I never did. I was about to say something there. Oh, yes. My brain is already on fall trout and salmon. So I actually have been prepping some of the gear for that. So once we get into September, October, salmon time, we've got that to look forward to as well. If we keep getting these, as much as I hate the heat, they're triggering a lot of really big storms. We keep getting big storms like this, we're going to have a good run. What's that? Fluffs. We'll have some good runs of salmon come up. The trout will follow them in. And, Dave and I dialed in pretty good last year for the browns and the rainbows through the late fall and into the winter. And that was exciting. It was really exciting. And I have to say, the brown trout video that I did with the tube jigs, that is still getting views every single week. The drop shot videos that Dave did with the browns, that's still getting lots of hits. And then when I kind of modified his drop shot rig and I tried it myself, all these trout videos that nobody watches in the summer are still being watched right now. And it's blowing my mind, because normally our carp videos, the occasional little panfish or bass that I throw in there, that's all what people watch in the summertime. And then it's all trout and ice fishing through the winter. This year, the trout content is still being watched as much as everything else. And in all fairness, I haven't done a proper big carp session yet this year, like on video. So that's still coming. Got to do them, right? It's just, I've been having so much fun doing everything else. The whole name of the game is to go out there and have fun. If that's what I'm doing, having fun, then I'm just going to keep doing that. And, hopefully you guys will enjoy the videos that come out of it. The fly rod situation this morning, never had one that big, never had one that color. Very, very exciting. So, yeah, some really good stuff already shot, filmed, just needs to be edited and thrown up on the channel. So some really good stuff coming your way. There's always more stuff that I've got laying around that I have to work on that I haven't yet. If you guys are CCS members, so if you are part of the Canadian Carp Society, there is a new episode of CCS TV. I'm not sure what day it's being released, but it is coming out soon, episode 7. With that said, if you are not a member, I don't know why you're not a member. You should be. It's not just about carp fishing. It's primarily carp fishing. That's why we're Canadian Carp Society members. But if you're like me, where you fish other species at different times through the year, we do have multiple groups in the website, and there is a multi-species group. So for those of us that go out and chase salmon or bass or walleye, you go out and have a cool session like that, there is a group in there for us to all chat about the other species as well. So if you're just somebody that fishes carp occasionally and, not as hardcore as maybe some of us, there's still a place for you in there. You can learn more about carp and really develop the carp aspect of your angling by being around tons of carp anglers who really know their stuff. But you can also still enjoy the multi-species aspect of it by hanging out in the multi-species group and posting some pictures, chatting with the other anglers there. So with these groups and some of these other elements to the Canadian Carp Society, there's more reasons for you to join. Just be around the right mindset of people. Yeah. But if you're not a member and you haven't joined, but you have followed the episodes of CCS TV that we have made public so far, I think episodes 1 and 2 have been made public on the Canadian Carp Society YouTube channel. Episode 3 is ready to go live on the YouTube channel for the public. I just need a release date for it, and then we'll get it out to release episode 3 publicly. Episode 7 for members coming up very soon. It's done. It's ready to go. It's just needs to be put on the site. So episode 7 for members, episode 3 soon for the public. On top of that, don't really have much else in other news relating to fishing, anglerfile stuff, stuff with Dave. I'm hoping, just real quick before we wrap this up, did any of you guys watch the center pin for smallmouth video that we put up just a couple weeks ago? Or a week ago or 2 weeks ago? Did any of you guys watch that video and get some enjoyment out of that one? Because I had a ton of fun doing that, and that was only like an hour on the Saturday morning and an hour on the Sunday morning. I wasn't up there for fishing. I was up there for spending time with family, and just it's the way I am. Everybody's still asleep, I'm going fishing, kind of thing. If you guys enjoyed that and want to see more of that kind of like ultralight center pin stuff, I want to try and do more of that, because that was a lot of fun. I want to try and go do that for suckers, and I would like to try and find some big rudd. I was looking for rudd this morning, couldn't find them. Looking for rudd in all the wrong places, I guess. But this whole ultralight thing with the center pins is something Dave came up with and is tinkering with himself. And I caught the bug on this one. It's even those little tiny bass were really bending that rod around and putting up a good scrap. And all those bigger ones that I kept losing felt amazing on that setup. Can you imagine a 3 or 4 pound red horse sucker? It's going to be brute strength dogging. It's going to jump like a trout. Like, that could be really, really cool. Okay, so some of you guys did see that. You like it. Excellent. I'm just looking for some locations where I'm going to try that again. So I'm hoping to get a spot for suckers, potentially a spot for rudd, where I can do that same thing. We'll see what happens. Nice. Love using a 10.5-foot steelhead float rod for panfish and brook trout. Love that style of fishing. Absolutely. Absolutely. For panfish, I have something else to try. I'm trying to find a location where I can do it where when I lift it up, it's not going to hit power lines. But I want to go try and fish some crappie with a 5-meter whip. So if you guys aren't familiar with the whip, Dave did a video whip fishing last year, so you can go back and check that out. He was whip fishing for carp, and it was a 3-meter whip, so a 12-footer. We kind of did a little challenge. The challenge didn't turn out the way we had planned, so he went back and did a little bit more with it. There's no reel and there's no elastic. It's just a pole line straight down to a little basically to one of these, and we did it for carp. But I want to do this for panfish, bluegill. Like we all know, let's face it, pound for pound, bluegills are the hardest fighting fish going. We all know that. There's nothing like a big behemoth bluegill. It's going to fight hard. They look awesome. Some crappies. I want to try and get some crappies with the whip. So that's, there you are, right there, Craig Cook. I told you guys, the name was right there. Yes, right here. Ordered them right after the last live stream. The elasticated Duro banjo feeder, micro 30 gram. Yep. I'm hopefully gonna try these tomorrow. If not, I'll try them next weekend. But I do have them, and I apologize if you look back earlier on. I just couldn't. Your name was like right there in my head, but it couldn't come out my mouth. So we did already talk about that. Yes, I got them. Thank you. They're gonna get used. And we also went over all the pole rigs that I got. But yeah, I have 2 5-meter whips, and one is super, super light. One is really old, and I'm hoping it's not too brittle, but it's actually the same diameter as my pole with the elastic for like the first 5 sections. So I'm already going to be comfortable holding that. But it's the way that's set up, because there's no elastic and it doesn't come apart. It's just telescopic. I can't just take sections off. So I have to be able to swing the thing straight up to swing the fish to me to fish with the whip. And my favorite spots to catch crappie and bluegills, there's power lines right above at about 4 meters. I don't want to take that risk. But that's another thing that's on my list, is to do the whip fishing for panfish. I'm just trying to look for a safer location to do it, where the panfish are actually going to also be. Because some of the spots I know that have really big crappies and really big bluegills, like I got to get in there with a 5-foot rod, because I got to get into some really tight spots, and I'm already too big. Like these are spots that I've been going to since I was a kid, and they just keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller because I keep getting bigger and bigger. But I can't help but think, like a pole rig like this with a little tube jig on the bottom, a little twister tail, or a little piece of worm for bluegills and crappies. And, we're getting to the time of year now when, if I'm going to go find some crappies, go out early evening, they're going to be there. And, still to this day, 2 blocks away, I couldn't have been more than 15 or 16. The biggest white crappie I have had in my life. No word of a lie. It was like this. I've never seen one as big since. It was an absolute giant. Biggest white crappie I'd ever caught is burned into my brain. And I haven't fished the location where I got that fish for so long, because of a very, very bizarre story the last time I fished it. There's a couple of you out there who know the story. I can't repeat it online. But, if you guys ever bump into me on the bank and you want to hear that story about the spot where I fish for the crappie and why I haven't been back there, I might tell you. It's mind-blowing. But I have other spots that I want to get to where I should be able to get some crappies and bluegills. I want to try it with the whip. If I can pull that off, that'll be another video to come out to be put together through the summer. So very, very busy trying to get this done. Working on some other things with my son that are not fishing related. And that's a whole other thing. Some of you guys have somehow found the Instagram for that already. I'm not going to mention it yet, but I have filming to do with that stuff too. So busy bee over here. And somehow I have to continue on with my renovations to the house. I did manage to fix the the flooding drain in the floor the other day, but now I found out that there's another pipe upstairs that's just running nonstop. It's like, why is my water bill $200? Oh, it's because of that one and that one and that one. I'm sick of adulting. Anyway, sorry, I'm still on a bit of a rush from this morning. I had a great morning fishing. I'm looking forward to getting out for a few hours tomorrow. I'm glad to see that some of you have been out. Somebody like Ben, I know you've had a great session recently. Your teammate's going to be fishing soon for the challenge series. Doug's going to be fishing soon. I think Sunday night to Monday. Some cool things are going to be happening, and we're going to hear about some really great fish soon, I hope. Another new addition to the URC top 10 on the Canadian Carp Society. I think there was a 45 pounder from Quebec that was just posted. I haven't seen the picture of it yet. I think somebody sent it to me, but I haven't looked yet. But a 45 pounder from Quebec was just added to the top 10. The Canadian URC list that we have, so unofficial record carp, I think there is only one 30-pound fish left in the top 10, and that's a 39 pounder. That leaves the other 9 spots, all fish over 40 pounds. My 40 pounder is like right near the bottom of that list, that 40 pound 8 that I had a few years ago in Lake Ontario. They're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And, you know, for those of you who watched Paul's video last year, I think he had 5 40s in a session. And yeah, the 40s are coming out of the woodwork now. So some really exciting fish are still yet to come out this year. Just got to keep an eye on it. It's going to be exciting. And I'm, as much as I'm kind of dawdling with getting behind the pod again, I'm so wired for the fall. There's lots of fishing opportunities that have got me really buzzed lately. So for now, we're going to wrap up the live stream. Thank you all for joining in. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you guys all participated in the chat just like you normally do. I kind of rambled a lot there, but like I said, I was out in the heat and I had a good morning. So I'm happy. I'm in a good mood. Time to go wake up my teenager and see how long that good mood lasts. So we're going to go have some father-son time. Probably him pissing me off and me being like, okay, we're going to go do yard work now. And yeah, we'll see you guys in August. What date will the August one be? Let's see here. I was literally just looking at it too. You'd think I would have remembered. The August live stream will be on the 9th. I was going to say it's on my day to work, but my work schedule has changed. So actually, I won't be working that day. So the 9th of August, might be able to be on the bank for that one. We'll see. Got to pick a location. Might be sat behind a couple of rods, just waiting for a bite. Okay, so we'll see you all August 9th right here for another Angler Files Live. Again, thank you all for joining in. Thanks for watching the videos. Really appreciate it. Yes, I will report back in the next live stream how I like the elasticated feeders. The only way you won't hear about it in the live stream is if I do a video with them and get that video out before that, which probably won't happen. It'll probably come out after, but they're going to get used probably within the next 10 days. And I will report back for sure. We'll hear about those. For now, again, thank you all. Appreciate you, every one of you being here and hanging out and chatting and, watching the videos, leaving the comments, share the channel around, let people see what you guys are into. And like I said, we got some cool videos coming, some really cool videos coming. Thank you all of you. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next time.